Alright, today I'm going to make my second video. The last one I put up was almost a year ago. I've had some issues, had to have an eye surgery. But anyway, I'm back. This is the second gun that I'm going to do sort of a tabletop review. It's been all over the internet before, but it's just the ones that I have that I like. So today is going to be the Diamondback DB9 Gen 4. This is a very, very small pistol. You can see it's basically the size of my hand. Holding it, my fingers are almost at the muzzle there. Um, it does hold 6+1. It is empty. Trigger pull on it's not bad. You got a little bit of take up there. And then there we go. It breaks right there. Let's see about the reset here. Resets right there, and then a nice crisp break. The biggest downside to it is a fairly heavy trigger on this small pistol, and reason being because it is designed as a striker fired pistol that basically has to be charged in order to operate, but it operates like a double action only. And when we take it apart, I'll show you what I mean by that. But basically, the right now the sear connected to the trigger is actually in front, well, behind at the moment. It's behind the striker, so there's no connection there. But this right there, if you could hear that little click, that's as far as it has to go back to move that sear in front of the striker. And there's actually no pressure on the striker. So as you pull the trigger, it's basically pretty much dead till there, and then you do get a little bit of creep as that sear is actually pulling the striker back, and then it releases and you get that break. So it is a pretty heavy trigger on that, but it's not that big of a deal to me. I mean, if you're going to be using it, you're going to be squeezing the trigger in a high stress situation, and I use this as my backup gun. I normally carry this one in an ankle holster, so it's not too bad. But taking a look here on the insides, if I can, there we go. You can actually see here, right in there. See if I can get it from the side, maybe a little better. You can actually see it moving back and then dropping out of the way as the trigger gets pulled. But basically what that does, you have your striker in here, very short channel, and it just basically, let's move around to this side here, that little piece just hooks onto it, draws it back, and then releases it. And that's all it does. But once it's released, that sear sits back here, and then once you move it forward, now it sits there, and then it'll pull back and release it. So it's a striker fired, but it's basically a double action only. They call it their zero energy striker because it doesn't actually stay under tension when the gun is cocked, basically. I'm not going to strip that down any further. It's a captive spring, guide rod, barrel, the same basic thing. It's basically a very miniature Glock style, like most pistols today are. Everything is, copying Glock because Glocks work, right? But it is not a very pleasant shooting pistol because of its size. Even with the magazine in it, you're still not going to get the pinky on there. They do make a base plate with the pinky extension. It does not give you an extra round. It just helps get you a better grip on it. I do have two holsters for this. I normally carry it in an ankle holster, but I also have one from Sneaky Pete that looks like a PDA case, a cell phone case, with the flap on it. It fits in it perfectly fine. I can draw it quickly if I need to. I use that if I want something very lightweight, summertime. I might be wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I'll wear that where it's on the outside of the belt, but I'm still concealing, so it works. I said not very pleasant to shoot. The recoil on it is pretty stout because it is pretty tiny. I mean, for reference there, the barrel is literally the length of my finger. So, sight picture on it, it's not too bad. No, it's not too bad at all. I'm actually fairly accurate with this. Not out to quite 25 yards, but anything 7 to 15 yards, I'm actually pretty accurate. At 25 yards, not as accurate. I can still put it on paper, but I'm not, hitting bullseyes with it every time. Even at 15 yards, I'm not the greatest shot in the world. I'm not going to be hitting bullseyes with that, but 7 yards to 15 yards, which is generally where I go to a outdoor range. Basically, it's my uncle's backyard, basically. 7 yards to 15 yards. It's everything is center mass. It may not be complete bullseyes every time, but it's definitely good enough to stop someone. And it's 9mm. I typically like to use for my carry ammo, and that I use the right here. These are the Norma MHPs, monolithic hollow points in 9mm. I actually love these. I've done quite a few tests with these, and they expand really well in most mediums. I have had mixed results with heavy clothing. T-shirts don't seem to bother it. Single layer of denim doesn't seem to bother it. And I don't really go further than that. I don't believe in the 4 layers of denim plus the fleece plus the this and that and, plus T-shirts. And most people don't walk around wearing all that crap. They might wear a heavy coat, which I haven't tested against heavy coat because, like I said, this is a backup gun and it's a summer carry gun, if I want to be lightweight and, when it's hot outside. So T-shirts, jean material, it does fine through. Thicker stuff, I've seen mixed results with it. Sometimes it'll expand, sometimes it won't. It's kind of luck of the draw depending on how thick the material is. It does have a very small hollow point cavity in it, which does actually seem to help. Let's show that again. Right there, it does help keep it from getting clogged for the most part, but it will still get clogged just like many other hollow points. The reason I chose those was during this whole pandemic deal. I've still been taking people out shooting, teaching them how to shoot and stuff, and I use my own ammo, and I don't normally charge people because I like to shoot myself. It's just give them the experience. Maybe they don't like firearms or they're very new to them and they want to get one. And most people will say, oh, no, I want something small like this. It's easy to shoot. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. Nobody needs to start with something like this. This size in a 22, perfect. This size in 25, 32, even 380 is acceptable. This size in 9mm, I wouldn't give any first-time shooter one of those. It's just, it's not comfortable. Had a friend of mine, big guy, mechanic. He went out shooting with me. He thought he wanted something that size. He's like, it'll be easy to conceal and easy to shoot. Okay, I put it in his hand. He fired 2 shots, handed it back to him. He said, what else you got? So it's not for everybody. But as a backup gun, it does great. And that's all I've got for you today. Tried to keep this one a little bit shorter than my other one. Be another one coming soon.